So I want friends. Doing this review is like, girl, what did you get from this book? Did you read the book? Do you even remember the book? Because I literally got this book, I want to say almost 3 months ago. And the goal was to do this video when I first finished the book, because I know me. I'll read a book, I remember bits and parts of it, but like I don't remember like the full experience, because it's like 3 freaking months ago. I'm a new mom, I have a child, and it's like my brain is like whoosh. So I apologize if this review is like, girl, but I wanted to put it out there because I really felt like it was important, because it helped me to start really like checking myself, because I feel like sometimes like it's so easy to be an influence to other people, but when it comes to you, it's like, what are you doing? Like, I was a server for almost 3 to 4 years. Now I remember one day I was like putting like bread away, whatever, and I was thinking to myself, like, you work here single shifts, double shifts. Sometimes you get home and the only thing that you have the energy to do is take off your clothes and go to bed. Yeah, you can't put aside an hour or just 15 minutes for yourself. It's just not adding up. So this book really helped me to kind of like get through that space of stop allowing self-doubt, fear to make you feel like the only way for you to live out a dream is by living someone else's. Like, live your freaking own, because you can do it. Whatever ideas you have, they're not coming to you by coinkydink. They're coming to you because God is trying to give you a vision, but you're not allowing yourself to live it out. Okay, before we even get into this review, I'm going to just be completely honest with you. I had the hardest time making this review. I had the hardest time staying consistent with it. So if you see brain farts or things that don't align within the video, just know that it wasn't done intentionally. I'm just being completely real when I'm doing this review. And also, I feel like the book highlights being completely honest with your journey. So please bear with me. But with all that being said, I hope that you do get something from this video, and that does make you want to go get the book of How We Heal by Alex Elle, because it is a beautiful read. And to the people in the background doing construction, you're rude, because I'm doing the video and you see me. Yeah, I'm having like a brain fart. I'm having a freaking brain fart. So I'm gonna hold it like this. Let's do this like this. Is that cute? Okay, so I have been procrastinating this video for I don't know how long. I recently watched this video and it was like, don't be a perfectionist, be a completionist. So we're going to complete this review on How We Heal. Got it because two of my friends, shout out to them, two of my friends had went to a seminar with Alex Elle and Nidra. I don't want to mispronounce her name, but I'll just put it right here. Not the indigestion. But I wanted to do this review because I like using YouTube as like a source of reviews, and I didn't see anybody review this book. So if I'm the first, Alex Elle, you did great. If I could say it in my own words, I feel like How We Heal is either the beginning of your healing journey, a book that helps you to get back on your path if you feel like you fell off, or it's just a good segue into wherever you're at in your life. I feel like it's not for a beginner healer, it's not for an intermediate healer, it's not for an advanced healer. It's for anybody. And I feel like there's really no level of healing because we're always healing, but I feel like wherever you are in your life journey, I think is something that will definitely be helpful. It's in 4 sections. The first one is starting from scratch. The second one is befriending your fear. Third is reclaiming your power. And fourth is healing your heart. So starting from scratch really got me into reading the book because it spoke on self-doubt and fear. And for me, I feel like I'm in a space in my life where I feel like I've allowed myself to feel like I'm not in a space that I want to be, yet I'm still fearful about stepping into the things that will help me to be the version of me that I know that I can be. And just hearing her say that, you know, sitting in your self-doubt and sitting in your fear will not elevate you to where you want to be was something that I personally need to hear, because I think that it's easy to say, oh, I want to be this, I want to do that, but it's about taking the steps, taking those actions, because without those actions, you won't be able to get to where you want to be. She says, for years, I have been teaching folks from all walks of life how to use writing as a way to heal. I've led self-care workshops throughout the world, and I've helped thousands of people on their healing journey, and yet this book almost didn't happen. My self-doubt and imposter syndrome was intense. I found myself stuck in a negative thought spiral, asking myself questions like, who do you think you are? What makes you think you're qualified to write this? You're no therapist, no doctor, no scholar with a research background. Your experience is not enough. One of my favorite quotes is, you can spend 2 years doubting yourself, or you can spend 2 years working. And in those 2 years, you have either the consequence of no production because you didn't do anything, or you have production because you did do something. So my goal for this season of my life, for the rest of my life, is to do something. I thought this was interesting because I feel like when people think about fear, we don't think about being a friend of our fear. We think about, just pushing it away. And I feel like there can be balance in that. There can be balance in recognizing, okay, I don't like this, so I don't want to embark on it, but I'm not going to allow it to dictate my life either. And I really like that, because I feel like sometimes it's so easy to just be stuck in your fear that you're not allowing it to help you to work around it. You're allowing your fear to dictate how you move, and that's not how we want to live our lives. Like, no ma'am, no sir. Throughout this book, she has a lot of journal entries. I took time to do some of them. I didn't do all of them, but I have them all bookmarked. The way I read my book is like this. So I pretty much highlight something on the page, and I put a little paper clip on that page to show that I highlight something. For example, so my favorite interview in the book was Tabitha Brown. I just opened it because, Auntie Tab's a vibe. If you don't know about her, get to know about her, because she's a whole freaking vibe. But I highlighted something that Tab said, and I'll read it to you. It says, I'm in the layer of understanding. When you're going through things, you don't understand why. But once you get through it and you reach a new place in your life, you find peace and have insight when you look back. Often we realize that certain things had to happen to teach us something. I'm at that level of understanding because people look at my life and say, you're living your dreams and all these amazing things are happening. Overall, what did I take from the book? So there were 2 things in particular that I took from this book that I felt like were really important for me. The first one was emotional rest. So I feel like people always speak about physical rest, but when it comes to emotional rest, we kind of like don't really look at that as important, or we don't know that it's a thing. For me, I didn't know it was a thing. So when you're healing, sometimes you can get so caught up in, I want to get this, I want to get that, that when you get burnt out, instead of you just taking time for yourself and coming back to it, you burn yourself out to the point that you don't want to come back. So when she spoke about emotional rest, it really helped me, because I realized that sometimes I can be so into, I want to just heal, I want to just get through this, that I don't allow myself to just be in the journey, which is easier said than done. But knowing that emotional rest is a thing that I need to know about and I need to include in my life was very helpful. Second thing was walking. Before having my first child, well, my first and my only and probably my last child, I wasn't a big walker. She had a segment in the book talking about how she read a book that focused on walking as meditation, and not only just walking, but walking in silence. So instead of like having like your headphones, listen to a podcast, she would just walk. And to me, that really hit hard, because I feel like when I walk, I have like music playing, or I have a podcast playing, which can be influential and can still be helpful. But when you just walk and you look at the trees, you look at, the people, you start socializing with people that you may not have socialized with because you got your headphones in. It's a whole different experience. But walking really helped me to think. It helped me to really be in tune with who I was and who I wanted to become, and where my life was going and where I wanted it to go. So walking meditation is something that I really applied now to my life. Would I recommend this book? Yes. for a factor of reasons. I think that if you're somebody who is trying to get out of a rut, or somebody who may not be in a rut but feel like they may be going into one, this book is helpful. And I love one thing about Alex that I feel like not only did I get from the book but from watching her YouTube is that she is a generation starter when it comes to healing. And I think that we're definitely in an era where people are starting to recognize that some things that we did growing up, or things that our parents did, whether they knew it consciously or unconsciously, they're not healthy. And I think it's important to be in tune with what works, not only for you, but for the people around you. And I think this book has shown me the importance of not just self-love, but the importance of boundaries, the importance of understanding that self-compassion and grace is so important, not just for yourself, but for the people around you. And I think this book is the start point for me of just recognizing that it's time for me to stop allowing myself to feel like I can't progress because I'm too old, or I'm too young, or because I didn't have this in place, or I didn't have that in place. It's about me. And How We Heal was, to me, the beginning of just like that thought process of just because things didn't come together the way that you think, or the way that society thinks, doesn't mean it can't. So if I were to recommend this book to anybody, I would say, whatever stage you are, like I said in the beginning of the video, it doesn't matter. It's really about taking this and applying it, because you're going to heal for the rest of your life. There's never a point where you stop healing. So with that being said, why not just take the time to get some tools to help you with healing? This book is a tool. It's a guide. And I'll end with this. Allow grace to meet you exactly where you are. Your healing isn't going anywhere. Rushing through it will not make the healing less challenging or more complete. But shame and guilt are not safe places for you to linger in. Make space for falling apart, failing, and trying again. How we heal is really about what the title says. How do we heal? How do we start? How do we navigate life when it just seems like failure and self-doubt and all these things are just taking over? How we heal is the journal passages, it's the interviews of people talking how they started in one space but they got to another space. It's about just taking the time to realize that when you start talking and start telling your story, and you're starting to really be aware of where you are, not just physically but also emotionally, it starts the healing. Sometimes being aware is just like, okay, I get it, I see it, I don't really feel like dealing with it, but I do know that at some point I need to come back to it. And this book, I feel like, is your comeback to it. If you're not ready to deal with it, or you're not aware that you need to deal with it, this one right here will help you to kind of like get in tune with that. Yeah, I hope that this is some type of helpful to somebody who wasn't sure what the book was about, or was wondering, should I purchase it? For me, it's a yes every single time. I hope that this wasn't all over the place. Thank you for watching, and purchase How We Heal. I should have said like this. This would have been cute. This is my outfit. I have from 5 and Below. It's giving. Body is looking, you don't know what that means.